It's sad. Oh, most people don't have a clue what's going on out there. So it is sad, you know. And we don't need to be that way anymore. It's about the money. What's money? You notice that money don't mean too much now. Your real estate, it don't mean too much right now. Things don't mean too much. And you know why? Because God needs to rip the materialistic consciousness out of the human being and bring it back to the beauty of free and joy and bliss and how simple things are and how healthy you can get with this. So I want to go on before I run out of time here but I will tomorrow shoot the question and answers on these videos. But there's a lot of people with cancer out there, and remember, cancer isn't a disease. It's a damaged, mutated cell. How? What does this? How did my cells get damaged? Remember, a pathologist is the only one that can really rightfully tell you you have cancer. And what do they need to do that? They need a cell. That's why there's biopsies. You can say, well, this is suspicious of it. There probably is. But there's only one person that can truly accurately tell you, in my opinion, and that's a pathologist. And he says, here, I'm going to stain a cell and let's see. Well, all right, you have damaged cells. All right, what damages cells in your body? Well, there's only two sides to chemistry, and everything's chemistry. And both sides can't damage you, although it can. It can. But predominantly, in keeping it simple, the one side of chemistry is the healing side of chemistry, and the other side is corrosive. Corrosive chemistry is acid chemistry, remember? And acids, ladies do acetates to clean the tones, to take the fingernail polish off your nails. We use acids to strip things. Acids are corrosive in nature. They burn, they hurt. So whenever you're in pain, I don't care if it's in the muscles and it's fibromyalgia, I don't care where it is in the joints, Arthur. I don't care if it's in the kidneys or the bladder, cystitis. I don't care where it is. It's still acids that are doing it. Where are you getting these acids at? Well, it's true that the microbes leave acid waste. You know, high fungus. Fungus leaves uric acid in the body like proteins. So there are acids from that. But remember, every cell is like a human. And like all animals, they all eat and they poop. Animals eat and poop. Plants eat and poop. Humans eat and poop. Everybody eats and poops. And so does the cell. They eat and poop because it's chemical processes. All this is involved in chemical processes. And most chemical byproducts of chemical processes are acids. And so these acids that build up in the body, they have to be dealt with, because the body produces probably several pounds of these acid wastes daily, depending on your level of activity. And you have to get rid of these acids, because when you don't, this is when you find acidosis. You could use the medical terminology inflammation, but then you're going to ask, why inflammation? Inflammation is an immune response. To what? Acids, proteins. And yet here on this side, we're pumping proteins here because we want these no pinch inch bodies and things like this. The problem with proteins, if I could just line you up a bunch of people that went down that route, you would cry to look at them, these bodybuilders and these great looking muscular men and these ladies, and now they're in serious decay of the kidneys. Their lymph systems are backed up, extreme rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis, and they're just torn apart by the acids that they were eating and producing and damaging the organs that allowed their body to get rid of it by pumping the steroids and losing the adrenal glands. I just talked to the guy over the weekend. The poor soul, pumped the steroids, and he was a major bodybuilder, Mr. Florida, and a state policeman and stuff. And now he has to take shots. I'm trying to say, hey man, you're going to, he's in serious pain constantly. He shot his kidneys. He's losing his joints. Can't go that way. We have to wake up to these antiquated ways of thinking, because the end result is so destructive to tissue that the person suffers. If you knew how much you were going to suffer pumping proteins and taking steroids, you would run away from doing it, because the pain the rest of your life, the replacement of joints and hips and knees, you can count on it. And the loss of kidney function and prostatitis and then all the cancers. It's unreal. And yet it's real simple to understand. It's so simple to understand. Your body's just a bunch of cells. Their functionability is your vitality. Their functionability is your body. Their functionability dictates everything about how you feel and think in the etheric bodies. This function of yourselves, of your body, is everything to you as soul, your experience while on this planet, while you're in the astral world, and while you're in the mental world, all simultaneously. The function of the cells of this human body is vital to your experience here, no question about it. And you notice a lot of souls don't want to be here anymore. It's not a happy place anymore. This isn't a happy planet. Man's narcissistic attitudes, his ego, his accentuated intellectualism. We haven't learned how to control that in the maturity of the human consciousness. So the human consciousness is in a rapid decline and decay. In America, we're arguing over this debt limit. I just want to puke. I mean, the answer is simple, but they're fighting like sharks over nothing. You know, and it's just, it's sickening, the decay of this intellectual side of life and how it affects the happy place. So, you know, we as individuals have to find our happy places and find the health of your body. And that's why I do these videos for you. So you can find your happy place. You can find the God that you are. You can find the ecstasy and bliss of who you are. And at the same time, get your bodies in shape. And I said bodies in shape so you can enjoy your adventure here. And you can do that despite this gnarling wave of intellectualism and the decline of that and the need of the human to understand they need to get control of the mind, not let the mind control. These are the negative forces controlling people. And then you have the reptilian race. I'm waiting for someone to understand what that is, the reptilian race. So remember about the cancers and the diabetes. So it's all about the cell and the health of the cell. But what controls the health of the cell? The same thing that controls the health of a little baby. Same thing. How you feed it, what you feed it, very important. We don't know that. People don't know that. You guys do. You're learning about the raw foods and what other animals do. We're just learning what nature does. That's all we're doing. We're not doing anything bizarre. We're just learning what nature does. We somehow took ourselves away from nature. And then, of course, you're always cleaning your babies. You got to clean these acid wastes from babies' bottoms or they burn. You notice diaper rashes and everything because those wastes are acids. They burn the tissue. Imagine what they do inside of people. So when I use the word interstitial lymphatic constipation, that means that the 3/4 of the fluid that flows around every cell is the lymphatic fluids, is the sewer fluids. These are constipated. And constipation means you're retaining these fluids. You're not cleaning and moving these fluids properly. And these are acid fluids. And they're sitting there hurting a lot of people that are in pain and suffering. And it has far-reaching effects into the psychic of the mind and the emotions because it's the thyroid and adrenals that are affected as well. So we have schizophrenia, bipolar, we have all these emotional and mental states and depressive states that are at hand. So you must think the health of cells because that's the only way you can come out of this. You can't treat your problems anymore. If we learn anything, that allopathic has failed man, has failed it big time. Yes, surgery, yes, fine, great, we need it, obviously. But as a general rule, we must isolate that away from allopathic thinking and get more into the curative zones. We have to. The survival of the human race is vital to that. Not that I give a hoot, because who cares? I mean, if I don't have a body, I'm probably a lot happier off. I've been out of it a lot and a lot happier. So, you know, but it doesn't have to be that way. The human body's the human body. You know, you can have fun, enjoy it if you want, and that sort of thing, okay. But if you want to live now on this planet, you've got to learn the rules. You've got to learn reality, and you have to empower yourself to control your health. And this is vital. So obviously the shift of getting rid of all the food sources and realizing that the human being is a frugivore. And if you want some vegetables, okay. But have a lot of fruit and berries and melons. Berries and fruits are where all the nutrition is if they're raised properly and picked ripe. That's where all your nutrition is. You have to eat a lot of greens to get a lot of nutrition. because most of the flavonoids and the powers in the fruits and the berries, sorry. I've talked to professors that have 3 doctorate degrees that have studied this for years, and these guys concur that the fruits and the berries is where all the nutrition is, not the grasses and the greens, except maybe for alfalfa. That's a little pretty puppy. I love that one. Kelps, of course, that's another great plant, is the kelp. So, yeah, we can have a diversified diet to a certain extent, but if you're detoxifying, you want fruits, 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 and fruits. So, in understanding fibromyalgia, diabetes, none of these are autoimmune problems. This is an illusionary concept. This is when someone says you have an autoimmune problem, immediately realize they don't have a clue what's causing these problems. Just know that right off. Because if you ask me, I'm going to tell you, you know how I'm answering on you? I'm going to tell you. If I've never heard of something, then I'll look at the location, because the causative factors are always the same. The decay of the cell, that's just setting us up with a lot of bizarre functions because of the different hormones involved, the different steroids involved, the different neurotransmitters or serotonins involved. But in reality, whether it is diabetes, whether it is schizophrenia, whether it is cancer, the health of the cell is vital to returning yourself back to a state of health. And how do you accomplish the health back to a cell? Can it get its health back? Of course it can get its health back. It can go beyond its genetic memories. How? Obviously, what you eat, drink, and breathe, and what you put on your skin. You must move yourself into a raw food diet, at least 80 or 90% if you're not cancerous or you're not dying. If you're dying, you don't eat anything cooked. And you don't get away from the nuts and the beans and the grains and the crap like that. It's all crap. When you're healthy, you want some nuts, okay. It's easy. I pop handfuls of almonds and raisins, and I love almonds and raisins together, and pecans, and my favorite's pine nuts and coconuts. You can eat tons of that. Problem is that you'll start feeling the difference when you do that. But it's easy because we have shellers now. We don't have to shell them each individually. But when you're detoxifying, it's a special time in your life. And you must get away from these things that are overpowering the body with protein chemistry and high acid chemistry. You've got to. You've got to bring that alkaline, flavonoid-rich chemistry into the body. Stringent-rich foods that help to clean and pull the human body. So you've got to shift your diet. If you're in trouble, you go fruits and berries and melons all day long, as much as you want. And at night you have a large salad. Put anything in there you want. No creamy, milky dressings. If you really want to get well, that's got to be the diet plan. And then get into botanicals. I don't care whose formula it's, but go after the kidneys, go after the lymph systems, go after your GI tract. You're going after your body like it's a new job that you just took on that you've got to do. And that's the beauty of the botanicals. They can go into the body. They can enhance the function of the cells. They can move that lymph system where the foods don't have that kind of power. And they can do it in a timely manner. So when you slap both of these things together, you really got it. So I'm getting a signal here that my time's up. So there's so much I wanted to get into here. But remember that. Review these videos. I know there's going to be a lot of them up here, and I really apologize for it. But I'm going to keep rattling them off as long as I can. And so I'll get in your question and answers the next video here. I know Drew wants to take you on a journey through my office and through the clinic and the herb store here and everything. And so do you have an idea who you're talking to when you're looking at these videos and what we are and what we're not? You know, just so we're not capitalists. We don't have anything to do with that side of life, and that our whole world has always been helping people. We have so many people come here without money, it's unreal, and so it's a stressor. But I'll get into that in the fructose intolerance, but that's malabsorption, just as a quickie on you. But anyway, thank you, and I will get back with this, and maybe I'll continue rattling on down the line, but I felt like I really needed to do a review video for those that are new here. You need to understand where everything fits, what's going on out there, and then what do you have to do to get well? Well, to understand what you have to do to get well, you have to understand what you're up against. What's going wrong in the human body? What is it? Diseases flying in from Moose Jaw, Alaska, landing on people they don't like? Could it be the virals and the life and the bacteria who've always been here? No. You have to understand nature, It's a little bit of chemistry and a little bit of physics. And the laws of nature. Look in nature. What does nature do? What does nature do with weaknesses?